This is a quick video on image hygiene and image management in email marketing. So for the emails, basically the idea is we typically want to optimize our email sends, try to send emails that are typically not image heavy, but if we are going to use images, we want to ensure that the image size is appropriate for the size of the email. So unlike a website, most of our, that are consumed by a browser on PCs, on mobile devices, etc., more often than not, the emails are consumed using a mobile device. So you really got to be cognizant. If we're sending an email, the person's going to open the email. They do not want to be waiting for that image to load. So we want to keep our images as close to the right size as possible. And what is the right size? Well, it's actually a function of your email. So in the email builder, if you look at your style, you can actually see here what is the width of the email. So in this case, this email that I'm editing, the width of the email is 600 pixels. So there shouldn't be really an image that is greater than 600 pixels. And we can refine that if we look at padding, that type of stuff. Quite often in our templates, we'll display what we think is recommended for this template. But if you're building your own images or your own rather templates, then you just really have to manage the image size as a function of the email size. So it's a case that like with this image here, and let's say I just drag an image right there, and it's not going to give you a recommendation. You can drag and drop it from somewhere else, or I can just go to my static images, find an image out of my library here that I want to install. And let's say it's this one. I have no idea how big this is. Well, it says it's 800, but most of the times the image isn't named the same as the size, but you can never be sure. So now I've got this image. It looks great in the email editor here, but it may be the case that this image is way too big to send in the email. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click the image, and down below there's this little pencil. This pencil is going to allow me to edit the image. So if I edit the image, one of the options here is to resize it. And as you see, this image, as it said in the name of the image, it was 800 pixels wide. So now, because this email is 600 wide, I'm going to change this. I'm going to constrain the proportions because I don't want to distort the image, and I'll just go apply. And what that's going to do is resize the image in place. And now when I save it, voila, the image is now 600 pixels, which is now we're good to go. So really, my recommendations is that really just think about the size of the email, and you might have to do a little bit of math. Like if I use a 2-column row here, and I put an image on each of the columns. Now, if the image width is, if the email width is 600, arguably these images have to be no more than 300 pixels each. So that's the idea, just a little bit of image hygiene. The idea is to manage your image sizes, and most professional marketers will quite often edit the images before they come in. But if you're working with an existing image library and you forgot to resize the image, don't worry, you can actually edit and size the images directly inside the platform.